I'm very curious to see where this goes because I said this to you when we were on the car ride for the Super Bowl. It's a peak into the next 5 years. I mean, eventually this technology is going to get to a point where like every single company is going to jump on it. You know what we should do? We should all spend $4,000 on the Vision Pros and just walk
Wii
around.
bowling on Vision Pros.
Yeah. Wii bowling.
Dude, we just take turns.
Who would be the first person to throw the ball back and have the people in the crowd just do the little jump that
literally.
they would do?
So I know for a fact that these consoles are going to be going to VR eventually.
Oh, 100%.
Their next system 5 years from now, I guarantee you it's going to have a VR function. And then it's going to come with the headset. You know, I guarantee you.
See, now, like, my thing is, we've had, you know, VR headsets for a minute now. But everyone's talking about, you know, the Apple Vision Pros. Like, have you seen anyone with them? Like, do you know anyone?
Not
that
around
has
here,
them?
no. Only online, like only on Twitter. I've seen people wear them, but I don't think people want to go outside with them anyway.
Exactly.
This guy looks stupid right now. And so the thing about them that intrigues me is the possibility of them replacing computers and TV. I think that's what is going to happen with them most likely. Not necessarily people going out with them and wearing them around outside to different places. But also there's problems with not the hardware, but I just think having a battery pack that only lasts you 2 hours.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Like that's
the
just
battery on them is horrible.
Yeah, it's bad. So I don't know if eventually they'll improve that, but
of course. That's what everyone's saying right now. They're like, "Oh, well, the first iPhone, you know, wasn't perfect. They just added to it." I'm like, "Yeah, but you got to understand, iPhone didn't get its stride until what? The iPhone 4, the iPhone 4, 4S."
When do you think? Are you gonna buy one though? Eventually.
Eventually, yeah, of course.
So how long do you think it'll take?
From like my own taste, I'll probably wait until they have at least a model or two above what there is now.
So 2 years then.
Probably. Well, it depends on what Apple does, you know? It still blows my mind that they call them the Apple Vision Pros, but there's no Apple Vision. So I personally think that there's going to be next year or maybe in like a couple months, they're going to announce, oh, the Apple Visions, and it's going to be probably a little bit
version.
less priced down.
Yeah.
Because, bro, like think about it. When AirPods first came out, they were like, check me with the price on this, but I'm pretty sure they were like $200 and something just for the Gen 1 pair. And people spent money on it because it's Apple. I think the same thing's going to happen. Like, I have Gen 2 AirPods, and I love them, and I will never replace them.
Yeah, same. I'll never replace mine.
Exactly.
Mine are Gen 2, I think, as well.
Until they, you know, crap out on me. But my thing is, when they first came out, the price point was stupidly high.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, I mean, I bought a pair for my sister for Christmas, and they were $100. I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're cashing in on all the hype of these people that are, you know, spending $4,000 on them. And eventually they're just going to bring down the price point, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the price point, Apple's always been expensive no matter what. And I know Facebook, Meta, they're making their headset, which I don't know when's coming out, but when that's coming out. But I assume it's going to be a pretty competitive market for these headsets now. Apple, they jumped ahead, which I'm surprised about, because you think you would rather have other companies put out their headsets first in order to get an advantage, where you can be like, well, this is what their product looks like now, so let's add something to it and blah blah blah. But I guess because it's Apple, people are just going to buy it anyway.
Well, it's not the first one.
No, it's not the first one. But in terms of virtual, like, there's VR headsets where it's not necessarily a computer, but it projects, what's it called? Like the Oculus Rift. Yeah, like that was one example of VR headset where it's used just for games, just for, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, the one that I was looking into is the Quest 3. I think that was one of the ones.
The Quest 3, is that Meta's?
I don't think that's Meta's.
Oh, okay.
I think that might be Samsung, but double check me on that. I, you know, kind of looked through a lot of like other headsets because, you know, we're living in a, you know, eventually.
That is Meta's.
Oh, it is Meta's.
That's not out yet. Yeah. So it was unveiled. Yeah, it was. It's going to release
Anyway.
October 10th.
Anyway, have you seen like? I know everybody said this, and I'm probably beating a dead horse when I say this, but like, bro, it's weird when you see these like videos on like Twitter and everything, and people are walking around with like their hands like this and everything. I'm like, dude, how long until we're like living one of those that Black Mirror episode and stuff like that?
Or Ready
and then
Player One.
Also on
stuff
top
like
of on top of that too, bro. You know, there's a feature on the Vision Pros that's literally called Persona, where it scans your face and makes an AI replica of your face.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, don't get me wrong. The pictures and everything, they're like, oh yeah, you can, go on a Zoom call in your pajamas and look like you're in a full suit. I'm like, yeah, but it is noticeable that you're with AI. You're not gonna sit here and it's like those people that get like the T-shirts that have like a suit on them. That's what it looks like, man. It also looks
That's true.
like with the person's face.
Yeah.
It looks like, have you ever gone into your phone and like not updated, but like edited a photo and you like put the noise reduction like all the way up and everything just looks stupidly smooth?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it looks like. It looks like everything is just smooth. It looks like if someone was like laying down like on their side and everything, and you put something on like the side of their cheek, it's just gonna fall off.
Yeah, I don't expect it to look realistic, but have you seen the interview that, like, on Lex Friedman's podcast? He did an interview with Mark Zuckerberg where they only talked through this virtual reality.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, you gotta look that up. So it looked really good. And if that's the first version of them trying that out, and eventually it'll get better, I'm assuming it'll look amazing in the future. So if this is the first iteration of it all, of that sort of AI looking face or voice chat, what's it called? Video chat. I think it'll get better eventually, but I don't know. I think people are gonna really like it. It'll probably eventually replace phone calls. I'm not a big phone call guy personally because I just don't think I talk very well on the phone. I'm way better in person because body cues and stuff like that. Sometimes when I'm talking on the phone, I'll interrupt people accidentally while they're mid conversation, mid sentence. I'll be like, "Oh shit, you're not done talking."
Story of my life.
Yeah, but I do that a lot because I'm always talking based on like how people are making body language and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I think that would be so good for me. Just something like that, something where you could see them still. And it just looks so person to person. I don't know. I like FaceTime though.
Bro,
too.
I do too.
So it's the same thing.
I'm not a big texter, but anyway, what I want to say was, what was funny was I was watching a tech review of this guy, and he did like a full like 30-minute breakdown of it.
Yeah.
Right? He goes, there's something where it's called environments, where you can like turn the dial or something where it brings you to like the moon and like major places that people would want to go to. I found it so funny how they make all these features like, oh, if you don't want to do the whole like, you can type on a keyboard on the thing by like, looking at it and then pinching your fingers.
Looking at the letter. Mm-hmm.
So I found it so funny how he was like, well, I'm not really big on, looking at a letter and then pinching to type and everything. So I attached a Bluetooth keyboard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When you put on Apple environments or whatever the hell it's called, you can't see the keyboard. So I was like, oversight. But, those are like little things that'll come with time and everything. Also, I think he said there's about 600 apps that are compatible with it.
Yes, that is coming out. They just announced that last week.
Yeah.
600 apps that are compatible.
But like, man, I'm very curious to see where this goes. Because I said this to you when we were on the car ride for the Super Bowl. It's a peak into the next 5 years. I mean, eventually this technology is going to get to a point where like every single company is going to jump on it.
And that's why I'm saying it's going to replace TV and computers because people are going to watch sports on it. People are going to watch their shows on it through Netflix, through HBO. You never know.
Yeah, you see, there's an Apple there's an Apple TV feature where you can literally watch like it goes by like the motion of, I don't really know how to explain this. So obviously when you're looking at something, it's focused, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like the things around it in your peripheral vision, it's kind of like a little fuzzy where it's not directly in your focus of your eyes.
Yeah.
So what the Apple Vision Pros do is you can have one giant screen and then have two other screens around it that will focus if you look at them. And I'm just sitting here like, man, I can imagine watching like NFL Red Zone.
It would be amazing.
Oh, it'd be incredible.
Amazing.
I'd watch the Steelers on the one. Actually, no, I'd probably put Red Zone in the middle and then put the Steelers on that and then just continuously just look over. But like, man, it's crazy. I don't necessarily think they'll get rid of computers just yet, but I definitely think it'll take over like TV. Why would I want to watch?
100%.
Why would I want to watch it? Why would I want to buy a $1,300 TV when I could just watch them on? You know,
I mean, TVs are cheap now, but
you know, I'm
you'd
trying
get
to
a
say.
TV if you're watching something with a group of people. So
Yeah.
so in that way, it would still be very needed because you're just going to want to watch stuff with other people.
Unless you can all connect to one. You
Well,
know,
if we're going
it's-
that angle,
it's
if we're not going to
crazy.
see
It's
people
crazy.
anymore, then that's the point.
It's crazy.
where
Yeah,
the
COVID
Vision Pro
20
is gonna be
COVID 20
needed.
is going to come out in 2 years, and people are going to be like, "Oh my god, let's all sit in the metaverse and just watch movies and shit."
Yeah,
It's scary because I can actually see that happening in like 15 years.
yeah.
Did you see that Elon Musk actually? He was talking about, like, you know how he wants to put a brain chip.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was testing for it, and like the first brain chip is either going to be tested or has been tested.
I heard about it. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, let's not get into that. That's some like Terminator shit.
Yeah, but the only people that are going to use it are the people that have like learning disabilities or hearing problems, stuff like that. I don't think they're going to be necessarily available for everybody, because why would someone need a brain?
Also, it's going to be expensive.
It's going to be expensive, and why would someone need a chip if they're completely fine? I can only imagine someone wanting the chip if they actually have problems like that are affecting their daily lives, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know how available it's going to be for people.
Yeah.
I think Elon's really trying to push into some environment that no one's ready for yet as well. So the fact that it could be available to everyone is scary, but like I said, I don't think it will be.
Dude, he's the modern day Tony Stark. It blows my mind. Some
Yeah,
of the
he
things I
is.
read about him and just the level of intellect that there are times when he'll be talking about stuff and I'm like, I've listened to this entire conversation and I have no clue what this guy is
Well,
talking about.
The thing about Elon I like about him, well, I just worded that weird. The thing I like about Elon the most is he's a good businessman, and he knows how to build a team of people to accomplish his goals. So for SpaceX, he obviously had an amazing group of people around him to do that whole, project of them launching the car into outer space. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And that was like the first big reveal of SpaceX being able to launch a rocket into outer space. And then the landing gear, where they're able to land all the reusable launchers in the same spot or not the same spot, but in a spot where they're able to be reused and not damaged. So they have a tracking device that lands them in the same or in the certain spot, which is cool. I don't know if they invented that, but I think that's amazing, especially if they're going to do different space stuff in the future. And yeah, I think he's a good businessman. I think he takes advantage of his position where he has all this money and he could just invent things that he just comes up with, or it's just amazing. It's amazing. I love it. So
Modern day Tony Stark.
it really is a modern day Tony Stark.
He's just, I like listening to him speak on things just because, I don't know. I know for a fact that, I might not be the smartest person in the room all the time when it comes to certain topics. But when he talks, I'm always like, listen, if this guy's in a room with 1,000 people, he's smarter than 999 people in
Probably,
that room.
yeah, most likely. But
And the reason that other one guy is because he is that one guy,
yeah,
So, anyway, besides Elon and everything, back to like the Vision Pros.
yeah,
Personally, I don't know. I'm very curious because, like we said earlier, I haven't met anyone that's had them.
well, I want to try them though.
I do too. Like my
wanna try
sister,
'em.
my sister and her boyfriend were talking. We were all talking about it once, and they didn't even know the price. They were like, "Oh, Nick, do you know like the price tag?" I'm like, "Jess, it's like $4,000."
Yeah,
And she's like,
car.
"Oh, yeah, it's literally a
beat up car.
yeah, I was gonna say a beater of a car."
Yeah.
But man, it's just, can I see myself getting them? Yes. Do I see
Same,
myself
yeah.
getting them recently? Probably not. So yeah, did you see Zuckerberg at the UFC event? I'm so mad that I can't pronounce the guy's name that he was talking to, but the guy who picked up Henry Cejudo like a little kid and then slammed him.
Yeah.
I
remember him. I remember him.
And I don't remember if I said this to you, but the entire week I was all over Topuria, all over it. I was like, I don't like Volk coming off of 3 months of getting that kind of knockout. Bro, a head kick, for lack of a better term, it messes with your head.
Yeah.
And leg kicks are probably the most devastating. Listen to me talk like I know something about
Volk.
MMA.
The thing about Volk is that his defense was so good, but now it seems like he's fallen off. He's old though. He's getting old.
That's true.
But
Topuria is a problem.
He's good. He's really good.
He waited for his time, and then just right when Volk got his back up against the cage, just boom, boom, boom on the ground, just finishing him. I was like,
yep.
Wow, Volk. I felt bad because you always root for Volkanovski.
Yeah,
the guy didn't lose for 7 years.
Yeah, he's a beast. He was the best pound for pound fighter in UFC for a while. But I don't know what's gonna happen with him. UFC 300's card is good, but
I think the mid card is a lot better than the main.
Yeah,
events.
the main event. Let me think. They were trying to get a better main event. I'm pretty sure
they were trying to get Adesanya and Makhachev. Yeah, or was
no,
it Chimaev?
Chimaev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always get them confused.
No, it's all good.
And they're so different. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I just think it's a good card, but there's been so many better cards. So it's kind of a shame
I can't wait for that Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje fight.
That should have been the main
That's
event.
Gonna be such a
that should have just been the main event, and they would have been good with that.
Well, if John Jones didn't split, I don't even know what he did. Did he need to just completely rupture his shoulder out of its socket?
Yeah, he.
Because I'm pretty sure
injury. Yeah. I don't remember what it was, but
I'm pretty sure Dana. I'm pretty sure Dana wanted John Jones or McGregor to headline the UFC.
Yeah,
300.
McGregor wasn't ready because he hasn't fought in 3 years now, 2 years,
something like that.
So he's not ready to fight, and he's gonna fight later in the year, probably in March or in the fall, like December, November, October. That's what Dana was saying. But
that's so stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just gonna be it's not gonna be a bad card, but the whole card has a lot of good fights.
Oh, I probably will be buying that. I'll probably be buying that card.
You really would think, but okay. I mean, I'm not buying anything, but with the UFC,
bro, I'm down to have the boys over, order some pizza, and maybe we got a couple beers. We can break out the whiskey, and
I'd be down for that,
bro. I don't know. I don't know if I told you this, but I got over the weekend I bought a bottle of Jim Beam honey whiskey. Yeah, or I shouldn't say I bought it, but I had a little bit of it. One of my coworkers was just like, "Hey, we brought this for the boss. Boss don't want it. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I bought him lunch as as a common trade. Oh my god, man!
What?
Whiskey does bad things to me, man. Like
what?
I don't remember Saturday.
Really?
Not like I was sitting there. I'm not just sitting there and I was just like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but. I told you, I was supposed to go to a rage room on Saturday night. Yeah. Had car issues, couldn't get there, couldn't refund my money. Tried to reschedule. The person, everything was just not turned up right for me. So I was like, you know what? I might as well drink a bunch of whiskey. And man, I don't even know what happened. I don't even know, but. I'd be down to break out the bottle. Yeah,
let's do it. I haven't had Jim Beam in a while, and I know it's not like the best whiskey in the world.
Oh, it's not.
But
the honey whiskey, you can't go wrong with adding honey to anything.
That's true. But yeah, I'd be down for that. And we gotta get together again too. We gotta do some stuff.
Yeah, I wanna go bowling again. We all, you know what we should do? We should all spend $4,000 on the Vision Pros and just walk around.
We bowling on Vision Pros.
Yeah. We bowling.
Dude, we just take turns.
Who would be the first person to throw the ball back and have the people in the crowd just do the little jump that they would do?
Man, yeah.
Memories.
If you think about it, the Wii kind of started all this shit in terms of VR in a way. because of all the movement and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was the
it
first
had
time
the
ever.
controller, you know, the first
exactly.
the little
So,
nunchuck thing.
they're still doing that nowadays. So the Oculus Rift, you need the controllers on your hands.
Oh,
So yeah, they're still doing that.
I want to get one just because you ever see those the game that they play where they like play a song and then like the things will come up and they got to go like up down left,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I just
I've
want to
seen
sit
those.
there and I just want to sit there in like my living room and just be like.
Yeah, man. I want to get one of those too, but I've tried them and they're fun.
You ever see like the VR things where it'd be like mods of like somebody swinging through us like Spider-Man and it's like horribly like 10 it goes from like 1080p like normal to like 480p.
Yeah,
you could see the
not
pixels in their
optimized.
arm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's so
terrible.
dumb. It's so
But the
bad.
person will just walk around and be like, "Oh, I'm Spider-Man."
Yep.
I'm like, dude, I would spend an ungodly amount of time just swinging around. I do that in like the regular Spider-Man do now. Where I'll just swing around and then be like, all right.
Well,
I'm
I
bored.
guarantee you, I know PlayStation's had some VR thing they brought out years
dog
ago,
shit.
but it's terrible. So I know for a fact that these consoles are going to be going to VR eventually.
Oh, 100%.
Like 5 years from now, their next system, 5 years from now, well, I guess you could say 5 years from now for
Not
their next
even.
big system for PlayStation or Xbox. But I guarantee you it's going to have a VR function. And then it's going to come with the headset. You know, I guarantee you. It's going to be, and they're going to make it good. Like, they're going to make it especially for gaming. And it's gonna be great. I think it'll be awesome.
The only thing that would suck about like the gaming, and I think the thing that really like holds it back is just the spatial aspect of it. Like you have to understand, you have to instead of I get it. There's 3D environments, but it's something where you have to add depth of field to a lot of things.
I think by that point they'll have that pretty much.
Well, a lot of
Those-
AAA companies barely do much work into their games as is. So them putting more money and being like, hey, we're going to make Elden Ring a VR experience.
That would be amazing.
Did you see
would
that
love
they released the trailer today?
Oh, I gotta check that out later.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta
fun,
check that
fun
out.
fact. Mogwin's palace, like the arm where like, Mikola is, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
entrance.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta check
They
that out.
always do that. It's always some optional area.
So
where
when
it's
is this
always
shit getting released?
June 21st.
No way.
2.5 years since launch.
It's hard to believe it's been 2.5 years.
I know, but also, man, you got to understand this. It's pretty expansive. They said there's 5 new areas because when you look at the trailer, I was looking at a lot of the biomes because a lot of the times you're not gonna be able to see the entire area, but what you look for is just different biomes, different like is there a swamp? Oh, is there a grassy field? Oh, are there 2
And
things that you
was there
can't
anything?
see put together? Yes, there was. There was
Okay.
multiple biomes. I saw maybe 3, 4, or 5 different biomes.
I'm just looking it up now. Interesting. I mean, as long as gameplay wise, it adds an extra like 100 hours of gameplay,
I don't think so.
then what was the whole point of waiting this long? That's what pisses me off, dude.
The area, the boss, and then there's a lot of different weapon types. Like there was weapons in there that I didn't see in the regular game. I think they're adding whole new weapons. They said there's a lot of friendly and unfriendly NPCs. Michael, oh my god, I almost called him Michael Zaki because I always call him Michael Zaki. Miyazaki did an interview with IGN today, and he talked about it. Obviously, he didn't give too much away, but the something I can tell you is I'm very much looking forward to seeing because historically FromSoft has always made their DLCs a lot harder than the base game, and you got a base game that already has Millennia in it. I can't wait to see how they top that.
I know.
They always do.
I hope
And
they
it's going to
do.
be something where I don't think that boss that will top Millennia will be a story boss. I think it'll be something where it's like, oh, go to this corner of whatever and flick the bell and then go to the other side of this corner on this very specific space right here and do an emote and then get the other thing to sprout up out of nowhere. Go down there, beat the boss there, get something else, then go back to this throne that you started at the beginning of the game and boom, you fight this, you fight like Mikola, You fight like Mikola in their prime or some shit like that, or just
That would be
something like that.
crazy.
I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think the
No.
guy they show in the trailer, I'm not going to spoil too much for you, but the guy they show in the trailer I think will be like the hardest boss, but he looks so cool. Oh my
And
god.
here I'm seeing it's going to cost $40, which is kind of ass.
I'd pay it.
I'm gonna pay it because I love the game, but
Yeah.
man, if you're paying $40, you're expecting a second type of game coming.
If I'm paying $40, I expect a VR function.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, $40, man. Like that's what I'm hoping. There's a lot of gameplay, a lot of hours to add on to the game. That's because it's $40. I mean,
well, this is what I would say. Excuse me. This is what I would normally say. For me, $40 means the value of the DLC needs to be 60. No,
like hours.
80% of what the base game was.
Yeah,
because you're
I
paying
agree.
well over half for it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I also have very big expectations with this because, I mean, I've said this to you multiple times. The longer you make me wait, the higher the bar is. You're telling
That's what
me
I'm saying.
2.5 years. I don't want 3-4 bosses. This isn't like, Dark Souls 3 where you can have 2 DLC packs and have 1 DLC pack of 2 bosses. No. I expect this to be on the boss tier of Bloodborne.
Yeah.
With the areas of Dark Souls 3, with the attention to detail of Elden Ring. That's what I expect.
It better be that because
Like I'm saying it right now. If I don't get at
2.5
least
years?
5 to 7 bosses,
Yeah.
I'm gonna think it's a waste of money.
That's what I'm thinking. I might actually wait. I'm gonna wait before I buy it. I'm just gonna wait and see how much is actually in it. you
Well,
know?
I still have to beat Radagon and Melania.
Oh, well,
I mean,
you
it's
have
been
time,
2.5. It's been 2.5 years, and
You have time.
I decided to just go, wow. Elden Ring is the most popular game in the world right now. Okay, I'm gonna play Bloodborne. Wow, I beat Bloodborne. Let me go get the DLC for Bloodborne. Oh wow, I beat that.
It's a different game.
Let me
Elden
play.
Ring's a different game.
Let me play Sekiro 4 times and get the platinum trophy for it. Oh wow, I'm done with that. Okay, let me go play Dark Souls 3 and then beat the DLC for that.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I've done all that. Let me go back to Elden Ring and then beat all the other bosses.
See, that's the thing. Elden Ring, it's so immersive that you're spending so much time just running around.
Oh yeah.
So you're not really. I mean, you're playing the game, but it's not like a linear game like Bloodborne, where you're going through a linear path, just getting to different bosses and stuff. So the amount of time you spend on Elden Ring is super substantial
You're like
to any other game. So for you to take your time on it is totally fine. Like I wish I did that because I finished the game and now I don't even want to replay it because I was thinking, all right, I beat the game. I don't really want to play it over again. I kind of want to just play something new. So that's why I was hoping for the DLC to come out quickly, but obviously it didn't. So, but yeah, I would have taken my time on it if I could go back in time and play.
Yeah, I mean, bro, all I'm saying is, like, for me, I got about 90 hours in Sekiro for the whole platinum trophy.
Yeah.
About 90. I'm at like 80 hours in Elden Ring. Now, don't get me wrong.
I mean,
Some of it is just me being hard stuck on one very, very specific boss. I'm not gonna lie.
do you remember?
The Draconic Tree Sentinel. Man, I hated that
tree
motherfucker.
sentinels? Yeah.
Man, I hated that guy.
That guy's
The
annoying.
Draconic Tree Sentinel, the one that's right outside of Lindell. That made me so mad that when I beat him, I had to get off. I was so righteous. I just needed to just get up and just go run a mile. I was so happy. But
yeah, this one. Yeah, I'm looking at him now. That one was tough because he's
yeah,
on.
but other than that, I mean,
Oof.
Commander Nile the one that summons other spirits. That one gave me a little bit of issues just because of the attrition of the fight. But other than that, I mean, Godfrey didn't really give me too much of an issue.
Oh really?
Moog didn't give me much of an issue either. Even though I kind of thought that the Lord of Blood wouldn't bleed, and then I quickly found out he does bleed.
That's what I would think too, right?
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah.
You would think he wouldn't be, invulnerable to the one thing that whatever. But I don't know. I gave Radagon I got to Radagon and Melania.
Your Radagon's hard too.
God, Melania's fight is just so.
Melania's fight's crazy. It's so hard to master. You need to do 100 times, 100
Easily.
attempts, easily 100
Easily.
attempts before you even understand every situation that comes around that you need to know and dodge. It's so dumb.
Like my
That's good.
favorite, my favorite is obviously I've played all these games and everything, and I've said so many times there are bosses in this series that stand out in my mind, but Melania is on a completely different plane because of one thing: the fact that she heals every time she.
Yeah,
hits.
exactly.
If she doesn't have that, I think Waterfowl does still put her up there as the hardest boss, but it's not as much of like. It's like comparing, whoever, like, it's like if Melania is a perfect 10 in terms of difficulty, I would think that the rest of the bosses that I would find difficult would be like 8.5s, 9s.
Yeah.
Like the Nameless King is no joke to write home about. And the same thing with the Orphan of Kos. But man, same thing with Ishin too. I think those three other bosses I would put up there as some of the hardest bosses I've ever fought. But man, Melania just stands on a pedestal all her own.
That's why she's also an optional boss in the game, because she's hard. So I mean, people would probably fucking want to quit after playing or trying to beat her. But yeah, she is optional. So, but yeah, I think it's a great game. I just hope there's games that top that game someday. We'll see.
I mean, I'm playing Helldivers 2 right now, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I was telling you earlier about the achievement I got ragdolled by a shockwave grenade that launched me. Bro, my body was it was like 40 yards.
That's fucking great. So is the customization really good in that game? Like the guns and stuff?
Yes, it is. I wouldn't know too much considering I have like 3-4 hours in it. That's what I'm gonna do That's what I'm gonna do when I'm gonna go home.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see what I can upgrade, but I don't know. I love games that don't take themselves too seriously, and this game does not take itself seriously whatsoever.
That's good.
Like, bro, the minute you complete the tutorial, you'll be like, oh yeah, this game is it's a boof, It's not one of them Call of Duty things where it's like you were a major soldier, sergeant of the sergeants of majors. Yeah. No, it's just like, hey, here's a grenade, go kill that shit over there.
Yeah.
Like they make jokes. They're like, oh, freedom and liberty, we're gonna go murder everything we see.
I love that.
But
yeah, I might try that game. Like I said, the PC issues have kind of make me not want to try it, but once they fix that stuff, I'll probably get it.
Yeah, you see, I don't know if you've seen this, but on Twitter, people are giving them shit like, "What? You can't fix the servers?" And the people like the actual like page like responds and just goes, "Here's an idea. Play a different game while you wait." And I'm like, literally. No company would ever say that to you. Don't play our product. Go play a different product. Nobody would. Nobody would ever say that.
Because they know their game's good.
Exactly.
That's good.
They have faith.
They do. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, games have been pretty bland. Still playing Lethal Company, which is good. I wish they had that on console. It's a great game, dude. That's a great game to play with people.
It's crazy. Like, how I game and how, invested I get, let's say.
Yeah.
I know for a fact what would happen is somebody, and this would happen to somebody, and let me make sure I'm phrasing this correctly. If I was ever in a situation where, like, let's say you're just out of range of me, right?
Yeah.
Something where, like, you're running away from something, and I can slowly hear you go from muffled to clear as day, and it's just you screaming. Oh, bro, I would laugh my ass off. And then I'm thinking, like, reversely, like, if that was me, and you just heard me losing my mind running away from something. So funny. Oh, bro, I would tell you. You got to clip that and send it to me. I'm making it better.
Oh, the amount of things we could have clipped at this point is unreal. And also, we got mods, too. So we got one of our favorite mods that we just got. It improves the sound. So it adds like 400 new different sounds to the game. Oh my God, it's so good. It makes the game so much more immersive. And it already was immersive, but it's so good. Sound alone is so important for these types of video games, horror games, anything that involves being scared. Sound is probably, like, if not the number one thing, it's definitely number two between visuals. It's so important in terms of horror games.
Yeah, I've never really, like, played... Well, I mean, I played Outlast.
Outlast is a good one. Yeah, I watched Outlast. I never played it.
I watched it
on
once.
YouTube.
I played it in college, my freshman year of college, and... I remember like me, my roommate, and a girl I was dating at the time. We're all sitting in like a corner, not a corner, but we're all sitting in the room. Lights are off. You know, we're cooked out of our mind. We got like dominoes on the way and everything. And they're like, "Oh, Nick, do you want to play this game?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Like, I'll play. Like, whatever." I didn't know about Outlast. And then next thing you know, the first like 5 minutes of the game where like the big brolic motherfucker
Yeah.
like chases you and everything.
Yeah.
My heart's pounding. I'm screaming, "Why are you making me play this game?" My blood pressure's gonna go through the roof. I'm feeling some type of way. My
love
heart's
it.
pounding. This girl's pulling on my arm because that's gonna help me run away faster. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I hand the controller to my boy and he just pushes it back to me. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have a heart attack if I keep playing this game. Next thing you know, I'm still playing the game 3 hours later.
Yeah.
Nothing was worse than when like there's a part of the game where like you're underwater and like you're not underwater but you're in the basement level and you have to like go like through the water and everything, and the big
Yeah, I remember
big
that
guy
part.
is like walking around and like looking for you and everything. I swear to God, I put the night vision down and I was like, guys, I'm scared out of my fucking mind. He's right on the other side of this wall, and I really don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you give yourself like a little like pep talk and everything. You're like, I'm not a bitch. I'm not a pussy. I'm not a pussy.
Yeah.
I'm a man. I'm gonna do this. Turn the thing around. All I see is this guy's ugly mug just look right at me. I pause the game, put the controller down. He says, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. God looked at me in the face and said, you really thought that you weren't a pussy. And here you are pausing the game.
Oh, I love it though.
Oh, bro, that's
that
one of
game
my
is good,
favorite gaming memories right there.
Yeah, that's why I love horror games. I mean, I don't play horror games that often, but Outlast is definitely one that's really good.
I played the second one, but it just wasn't as like impactful.
Yeah, I heard the second one wasn't as crazy.
Just added too much to it.
Yeah, I mean, horror games are some of the easier games to make too for a lot of these lower level developers and stuff because, like I said, they don't require a lot. As long as you have good sound, you have visuals that are relatively good, your own style. That's why I like Lethal Company. So.
And VR compatibility.
And
Can't
VR.
forget about that.
Oh, wait till that
Oh,
becomes
bro,
big.
I'll
Wait till
you
that
could
becomes
build
big.
a house with the amount of bricks I would
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. I'll be there though. I'll be there
Yeah.
because that should be funny. As long as I'm playing with other people, I'll be there.
Yeah, I was playing back when I used my PC. I was playing this one like indie title. It was a free game. I don't really remember what it was, but it was like chapters of different horror things. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll try. I put in my headset. I get immersed. All of that. And one of them was now. You know this about me. One of my biggest fears is like, waking up in the middle of the night, going to use the bathroom, looking out the window, and seeing someone just like standing there.
That's
The
yeah.
home invasion is something that
That's
like
scary,
I
bro.
will murder a motherfucker. Like I got a
Yeah.
baseball bat next to my bed. For don't fuck around because you will find out.
That's funny.
So I was like, oh, like, let me try this one. Go throughout the story, and it's something stupid. Like, I'm not even going to explain the story, but there's a point where they want you to go downstairs and just like, look around downstairs. And you hear something outside. So my dumbass goes, instead of looking through the window right over there, I'm going to open the front door and walk out. So, me being white and me being me, I open the front door. Literally, the minute the door like fully opens, a head just like pops out of nowhere, shoots, and I'm dead. It does like the thing where like it gets you and it's like,
Yeah.
giant sound. I mean, like, bro, I threw my headset off of my head and just went straight back.
Yeah, that's how you know.
Just went
That's how
like
you know.
full blown, like my feet are in the air, hit the ground, and I just go,
That's
man,
how you know.
fuck this. Why am I doing this to myself? Who enjoys this? And then, meanwhile, 2 days later, I'm like, yeah, I could finish that game.
Yeah. The Resident Evil games are good too. Those are really
I've
good.
been told to play the second one, like Resident Evil 2. Apparently, I got a remaster. My buddy Dan, Dan always like says like you need to play one of these games and blah blah blah. I'm like, I do, but it's like I feel like it would be a game that would stress me out. But it is a different like change of pace game.
It's a change of pace, and yeah, I mean, there's something unique about it all. I just like the fact that
I mean, they've made like 14 of them. They've got to be kind of good,
yeah,
right?
no, they are. They're good. They're good. And I remember the really old ones that were on like PS3 that were really good.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great genre. And like I said, as if they were to incorporate more co-op compatibility, which I'm pretty sure they do,
And VR.
if they get to that point, hopefully, then it would be everyone would be playing this shit. Everybody, just because I see what happened to Lethal Company. Man, if more games follow that path, and Lethal Company was made by one guy made that whole game. So if more companies take that route and just be creative, like take bits and pieces of other horror genre games to make it their own, and yeah, I just think it's a great genre to play with other people. So I hope more companies do that, more developers, they get in on that. But Lethal Company's great, man. So good.
Yeah.
Love that game.
Me like nitpicking and me being like my own brain, like what I would want in a horror game is, bro, you have so much stories of like real life, like paranormal activities. Why don't you just make a game about that?
They could.
You can make a game about the Conjuring House, the Stanley Motel, any of these places.
Yeah.
And just, you know, obviously you embellish a little bit, but you don't call it the Conjuring House. Maybe you call it the Summoning House.
Yeah. I mean,
but it would be so nice.
I remember PlayStation, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but PlayStation released this kind of demo on the PS3 years ago. I think it was called Silent Hill demo.
Yes.
And
I remember.
it was like you go through this repeat where you go through a door, then you're in this hallway in this house, and then you have to just keep going around and find clues. And then you keep like starting over, where you just keep going through this hallway and starting over and over until you find all the clues. And it's freaking freaky, man. Like I watched it on YouTube too, and that's a scary horror game, and that's just a demo. Like imagine. Yeah. So I love that stuff. I think it's a really well-made type of video games. And I like horror movies too. Not necessarily, I'm not like going out of my way to watch horror movies, but video games are just so much more immersive. Mm-hmm. You know, if you actually want to get scared, you got to play a video game that's scary.
Also, video games, horror video games and horror movies have the same trope.
Yeah.
If 10 come out, 6 or 7 are going to be absolute dog shit.
Yeah. Pretty much.
2 are going to be okay.
Yeah.
And there's going to be 1 that's real good.
Yep. True. I think it's a good genre, man.
I do too. I wish there was more horror games, but you know, they always come out around the season. And
yeah, not even. They just come out randomly, you know? And then everyone kind of raves about them if they are good, you know? So, but we'll see. Hopefully there's more in the future.
Damn, we got really off topic here. Bro.
Yeah, we did. We went around in circles, but I love it.
It's a conversation,
it's a good
dude.
Conversation.
But, all right, well, it's been good talking to you, as always.
Yep.
And all right, my peoples, stay beautiful. And this has been the CHOW and DIMES podcast, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.